Here's what Mike Florio wrote about the Cowboys. They've made most of their headlines this offseason by, number one, claiming they're all in for 2024, and number two, doing absolutely nothing to prove it. That dichotomy has helped conceal a far bigger problem. They have contractual messes with three of their key players, and they've shown no inclination to do anything other than delay, delay, and delay. Florio concludes, don't be mad at the players for wanting fair contracts. Be mad at the Cowboys, who seem to think playing for the team has some sort of inherent value that should cause players to happily take less. Keyshawn, once upon a time, you played for this franchise and for that owner. Do you agree with this criticism?
No, I don't agree with Mike Florio at all. But what he did say there is the players should take less. That's what you and Michael Irvin thought. The players should take less to play with the Cowboys.
But he's saying they shouldn't take less.
No, they shouldn't take less. But for some reason, you and Michael think that.
I think really, Dak should have taken less the last time.
And as far as they don't do right by the players and things of that nature, that's not true. What young player did they ever lose that they wanted to keep that they drafted and they didn't pay? They pay them all. They pay them all. We can go as far back as Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin if we want to. Troy Aikman, Nate Newton. I mean, we can go on and on and on and on.
You just went Nate Newton.
We can go all the way back. But we can stay right here in present time.
Yep.
They took care of Zeke. They're going to take care of CeeDee Lamb. They took care of Diggs. They're going to take care of Parsons. They took care of Tyron Smith.
They did.
They're going to take care of Tyler Smith. They took care of Zach Martin. I can just go on and on and on and on. There's this narrative that's out there as if the Cowboys are cheap. They don't want to pay their players. They're negotiating. That's a simple negotiation. It's not that deep. Just because you don't know what they're doing and they're not out in the public discussing what their plans are, everybody all of a sudden gets their hair on the back of their neck and go crazy because the Dallas Cowboys are a team that gets clicks. And people like to talk about them. And they want to know what they're doing on a daily basis. And because you don't know, the first thing you try to say is, well, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They got to make decisions, man. They're making the decisions. They're just not telling us what decisions they're making, Skip. In the end, do I think that 2 of the 3 players are going to get paid this year? Yes, I do. 2 of the 3. The 2 is going to get paid. It's going to be CeeDee Lamb and Michael Parsons. I think Dak Prescott plays it out, and I think y'all lose Dak Prescott at the end of the season. That's what I believe.
Glory be. Love to see it. Don't believe it. Okay. Jerry Jones knows what happened with Zeke and Dak the last time.
Yes.
He got played by both of them. Jerry does not like to lose negotiations, and he effectively lost both of them badly, because they both became bad bets because they didn't give him any bang for the buck. Zeke looked like the best back in football his first 3 years. Then he holds out in Cabo, and finally, near the end of training camp, as the season approached, Jerry caved, as you recall, and Zeke came back from Cabo and signed a big new deal that made him the highest paid running back in pro football. And he hit the wall. Almost immediately, he went down, 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 and down for the next 4 years. He did not give you near the bang for the buck that you gave him. You almost paid him for what past tense he had done, as opposed to
I actually thought after his contract, the first 2 years, he played well.
Again,
wasn't his
numbers
rookie
went down and down and
but he
down.
actually played well.
Yards per game went down each of those years, but they went down every year he played for Dallas, because his best year was his rookie year, and then it went down a little bit, but he still led the league in yards per game. Still led the league in yards per game the third year, and that's how he got the contract. And then it went down and down and down for 4 more years. But the point is, he didn't live up to being the best back in pro football the last 4 years, and even you would admit that. He had his moments, I give you that. Here and there, some short yardage, some goal line, I give you that. Then Dak Prescott. Jerry did drag his feet because he wasn't sold on the 4th-round pick that was Dak Prescott. He knew in his heart of hearts, I'm not sure he's going to merit the kind of money that he is demanding from me. But in the end, because he just played it out with the franchise tag, and then here we go again, and you face a second tag, and he's going to make $44 million off the second tag. It's ridiculous. And Jerry finally caved in and paid him market value. And it was a whole lot of money that he is still on the hook for, and he still has nothing to show for it. He doesn't even have one trip to the NFC Championship game in the last 29 years. So the point is, the reason he's stuck in the mud right now with these negotiations is I don't think he believes fully in Dak Prescott, and I don't either, because it's hard to sell him. It's hard to just in ink write that check where you say, yeah, he should be paid among the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, or make him the highest paid quarterback. What has he done for you in the last 3 playoff games to merit that kind of money? Nothing. He hasn't come close. He has been pathetic in the last 3 playoff games. Pathetic.
So y'all should move on from him.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying. You
should tell him to move on from him and see what that gets you, because outside of the highest paid quarterbacks in the National Football League, there's only one guy that's winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And that's Patrick Mahomes.
All right.
It's one guy. All these other dudes making money, they flaming out in the playoffs too.
Okay. Which team is the most valuable team in all the world?
I understand that they're valuable. I get that. But the reason that you're a valuable team is because the owner has done a tremendous job at putting them out front in front of everybody for the world to see, from a marketing standpoint and everything else. I mean, that's just the reality of it. But when you say that Dak Prescott hadn't done anything, well, you could point to a lot of quarterbacks that hadn't done anything, except that dude in Kansas City. And all these dudes make $100, $200 million.
No, I understand.
So he plays a position that has a demand for you to make a certain earning. Okay, a dude that just you ridicule constantly, in Kirk Cousins, he just picked up $100 million from the Atlanta Falcons.
Good luck.
But that's what it is.
Okay, good luck.
He ain't been in no championship games.
That's desperate reach. You're desperate.
That's the position.
All right.
Now you say, are you willing to run the risk? Because you can't franchise tag him, okay? You can't trade him. Can't do all the different things. Are you willing to run the risk that he has a phenomenal year again, like he just had?
Yep.
And then he's walking out the door on you.
Okay,
because you don't want to pay him $60 million a year.
I've seen nothing. He's 2-5 in the postseason. Okay, let's say he gets on a roll. Somehow they draft 3 starters who become Pro Bowl players. I don't know. And somehow they make it to this coming year's Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. And he says, thank you very much, I'm out of here. I would be happy with that. I would take that, because he hasn't shown me enough to throw what classically is good money after bad. If you now make him the top paid quarterback in the league off what he's given you and not given you, you're stuck again. If you do it just to reduce your cap hits for next year so that you can sign Mike and CD, and I still don't know how the math works. Everybody has these problems with their top players, and we're the only ones who are stuck in the mud with ours. Like, we can't figure out how to pay the top 3 players. I don't get it. The cap just went up, what was it, $30 million, an extra $30 million.
But I keep money that you save from the players that left. As the cap goes up, everybody else's and team numbers go up. So when you're talking about carrying a CD Lamb, and I don't have the numbers in front of me from several weeks ago, but when you're talking about CD Lamb's cap number at once upon a time was $7 million, well, that number's not $7 million anymore. That number is up. So that money that you think you're getting and saving goes to him. The same thing with all the other players. Their numbers go up every single year. So you don't have the money that you think. You don't have that sponge that's sitting there, Skip.
We've lost 10 players from last year.
Yes.
They're exiting stage left, stage right, stage center. They're gone.
Yes.
I say,
but everybody's numbers go up.
Okay. I'm still shocked they haven't paid CD Lamb. And you can say, well, they're negotiating. But I've told you, he's the one player.
A conversation.
Yeah. He's the one man I take to my bank. He has earned his money. He is a baller at the highest level. He is trustable going forward. Again, Mike, I think the reason Jerry's dragging his feet on CD is that he's afraid of Micah. That if you pay CD, Micah's going to hit the ceiling and start
CD
making
not
waves.
going. If you don't pay CD before opening day, he's not going to play for you.
Yeah,
I don't care what CD
and you know
Lamb
what?
says.
I would have no problem if he held out.
Yeah, he's gonna. You best to get it done.
You better get it done sooner than later. You better get it done at least before camp starts, because you do want him. You don't want him coming in on opening day. Okay, this is just ridiculous. But now we have some questions about Micah Parsons. I think you have some questions about Micah Parsons because he hasn't lived up to the hype. Maybe the hype was way too much to start with.
Well, my questions is about the back end of the season. That's the only question I have.
Okay.
He needs his motor needs to run high on the back end in important games, things of that magnitude. Other than that, as a player, do I think getting into Mike Zimmer's scheme,